All right, so get ready because today we're going on a deep dive into, well, something a little different.
Hmm. Different how?
Well, we're diving into the world of kitchen gadgets,
Oh, okay. Well,
specifically the Fullstar vegetable chopper.
interesting. What about it?
Well, we're going to be using its Amazon listing as our source material today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're going to see what kind of insights we can gain from it.
Right, because you might think, what kind of insights can you get from a product page?
Exactly, but trust me, there's a lot more to uncover than just like the features and the specs. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's amazing how these, what you might call mundane product listings, they act like windows into our culture,
Oh, totally.
revealing trends in food, consumer behavior, how we buy stuff online. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. So yeah, we're going to use the Full Star Choppers Amazon page as a case study.
Yeah, and first off, like right off the bat, you see this thing is a bestseller.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's got over 112,000 ratings on Amazon, so clearly it's pretty popular.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, and they're not shy about mentioning that, it went viral on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, I mean, the question is this chopper actually some kitchen miracle, or are people just buying it because they saw it on their For You page?
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? This is a great example of like how much social media is driving trends,
Oh, totally.
like consumer trends.
Yeah.
I mean, just a 60-second video,
Yeah.
it can make thousands of people feel like they absolutely need a product,
Yeah.
even if it's something, simple like a vegetable chopper.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's what, like a modern version of impulse buying.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the impulse is coming from like a carefully crafted online persona.
So true. But okay, let's look closer at the product itself. Right away, they call it the original Pro Chopper.
The original.
Like you're about to become a pro just by owning it.
Oh, I see.
And they really play up that angle with lines like, chop, slice and dice your ingredients like a seasoned chef.
Oh, very aspirational.
Oh, totally.
That's like classic marketing,
Yeah.
playing on our desire to be seen as competent, even stylish, like in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just chopping vegetables, it's like achieving a certain image
Right.
or lifestyle.
Totally.
It's almost like they're saying, hey, even if you like burn water when you boil pasta,
Right.
with this chopper, you'll at least look like you know what you're doing.
So true. And it's funny because they're kind of addressing this fear we might have of like not being a pro in the kitchen.
Right, yeah.
And then they double down on that with phrases like simple to use,
Yeah.
easy meal prep, clearly targeting like busy people who want to eat healthy but maybe aren't that confident in their, cooking skills.
Yeah, that makes sense. It ties into like a bigger cultural shift I think we're seeing,
Oh, yeah.
where cooking has become like almost intimidating for some people.
I could see that.
Just all this pressure to make, these elaborate meals.
Yeah, Instagram worthy.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have the time or the skills, it's easy to, feel bad about it.
Yeah, inadequate.
Exactly. So a product that promises to like simplify it all, make you feel like a pro,
Yeah,
even if you're just, chopping onions, that can be really appealing.
it's true. It's true. So they're selling a feeling, not just a chopper. Okay, well, speaking of the chopper, let's break down some of the features they're very proud of.
Yeah.
We've got rust-resistant blades, a soft grip handle, a non-skid bottom, a catch tray. It's all very sleek and practical, but I'm guessing there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where you get into like the art of framing features as benefits.
Okay, yeah.
Like those rust-resistant blades, they're not just durable, they represent longevity, like a smart investment.
I see.
And that soft grip handle, it's not just comfortable, it signifies control, precision, like a surgeon wielding a scalpel.
Oh, wow.
And that non-skid bottom, it's not just about safety, it's about stability, peace of mind, even like the chaos of a busy kitchen.
Wow, you really unpacked that. So it's not just about what the product does, but what it says about the person using it.
Mm.
And speaking of making a statement, did you notice how much emphasis they put on the ship in product packaging option?
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely there.
Mm.
A nod to like the growing awareness of, environmental issues.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like they're saying, look, we're responsible, we care about reducing waste. But it does make you wonder, is it genuine or just a marketing tactic?
Right. Yeah, it's tough to say. But I guess even bringing those issues up is, a step in the right direction, maybe. Okay, now, for the good stuff, customer reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Over 112,000 of them. We can't go through all of them, but let's hit some highlights. So Lots of positive reviews, raving about how easy it is to use, how much time it saves, how well it chops. Though some people did use the word choppability, which I don't know if that's a real word, but, gets the point across.
Choppability. I kind of love it. It's like they invented their own metric for chopping success. But it's interesting. A lot of these positive reviews
Hmm.
echo the same language used in the product description.
Oh, interesting.
So it makes you wonder, are these really genuine experiences? Or are people kind of like subconsciously parroting the marketing they've been exposed to?
Now that you mention it, it does seem like some of these reviews are like a little too perfect,
Yeah.
too aligned with the marketing, almost like they were influenced, maybe.
Maybe. And that brings us to a good point.
Yeah,
How much can we trust online reviews?
good question.
We all know, like, there are fake reviews out there.
Oh, yeah.
And even genuine ones can be swayed by all sorts of things, biases.
Totally.
Someone who got a discount or a free product
Mm-hmm.
might be more inclined to leave a glowing review.
Uh-huh.
Someone who's just having a bad day might be way harsher than they would normally be.
So true. So true. It's like navigating a minefield of opinions out there. But, in the sea of five-star reviews, there's some negative ones too.
Oh,
Some people complain about, like, cleaning certain parts, while others, they question the blade quality, the durability. One person even said the chopper, quote, died after just a few months.
oh, wow. See, that's what I mean about being critical. Those negative reviews, even if there aren't many, they're just as important as the positive ones.
I think so, too.
They remind us that this is still just a thing, like a mass-produced object, subject to flaws, wear and tear, and, unpredictable human use.
Yeah. So the takeaway is, don't just blindly believe the hype. Do your research, read a variety of reviews, and think about where they're coming from. And maybe, just maybe, take those TikTok videos with a grain of salt. Speaking of things to take with a grain of salt, let's talk price.
Ah, yes, the
Right.
all-important question of value.
Exactly. The Fullstar vegetable chopper comes in at $29.97,
Okay.
which, seems pretty reasonable for a kitchen gadget these days.
Yeah, it does.
But of course, online, it's never just about the price, is it?
Right. What else is there?
Well, there are all those tempting little add-ons.
Oh, right. You can add Prime for free shipping, snag a used very good chopper at a discount, or even, go for a bundle deal with other Fullstar products.
Wow. So suddenly that $29.97 chopper could turn into, like, a $60 shopping spree.
Easily.
It's all about those psychological nudges, isn't it?
Totally.
Those little whispers in your ear saying, why not get more while you're at it?
It's brilliant marketing, but we have to be aware of those tactics. Like, do we really need all this stuff?
Right. Good point. It's like they're preying on our FOMO, right?
Totally, yeah. Our
Uh-huh.
fear of missing out, like, oh, I got to get the bundle now before it's gone.
Yeah.
Even though I don't need, a tofu press.
Exactly.
But hey, speaking of being visually persuaded, let's talk about all those pictures and videos on the Amazon page. You've got multiple product images, a 360-degree view, even customer-uploaded videos showing the chopper in action. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops.
It's the age of visual storytelling, and they're definitely playing the game well.
They understand that online, you need to go beyond, text and bullet points. You need to create an experience for the shopper.
Totally.
Make them feel something. Desire, trust, that sense of, I need this in my life.
It's like they're building a whole world around this chopper. A world where chopping vegetables is like a joyous artistic expression,
Right. I can see that.
I'm almost tempted to buy one myself, and I don't even cook that much.
You see, that's the power of marketing.
It really is.
They're not just selling a product, they're selling an idea,
Yeah,
an aspiration.
totally. And that's something to think about as we continue our deep dive into the Fullstar vegetable chopper. Stay with us. We're going to get into the really interesting stuff, the cultural stuff, ethical considerations, and bigger questions about convenience, consumption, and our relationship with food in this digital age.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back and ready to go deeper into this Fullstar vegetable chopper thing. We've talked about, the marketing, the reviews, all the visuals. But I'm curious, what does all this popularity tell us about, us, as consumers?
Well, that is the big question, isn't it? I mean, the Fullstar chopper's journey from, factory floor to TikTok fame to bestseller, it really shows how trends, happen in the digital age. It's like this mix of social influence, wanting convenience, even a little bit of, aspirational living, maybe.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down a bit. We talked about how social media leads to those impulse purchases, but is there more to it than that? This chopper's got to be tapping into something deeper, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, think about our lives now. Everything's fast-paced. We're all juggling like a million things. Time feels like, well, it's the most valuable thing. So convenience, it becomes this huge factor in the choices we make.
Yep.
And that includes in the kitchen.
Right. So the Fullstar chopper is like a symbol of that. It's this promise of making something easier, something a lot of people find tedious or, just time consuming. But I wonder, are we like losing something by going for all this convenience? Are we losing touch with the actual, process of cooking, the joy of just chopping vegetables by hand?
That's a really interesting question. Gets to this bigger debate we're having about, technology and how it affects our lives. On one hand, yeah, these gadgets can free up time. We can focus on the parts of cooking we like. But then there's also like a value in doing things the slow way, by hand, that connection you get.
It's like, are we becoming so reliant on these shortcuts that we forget how to just do things the old-fashioned way? Is there like a value in slowing down, even in the kitchen, I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we're missing out on that, like tactile stuff, the feeling of chopping, the sound of the knife on the board.
You're right. There's something to that. It's about balance, right? Using the good parts of technology without totally forgetting those traditional ways of doing things, the skills people have passed down. Maybe it's not about picking one or the other, but finding a way to have both in our lives.
I like that, blending the old with the new. But okay, let's talk about something we haven't yet. Sustainability. We mentioned that ship and product packaging option, but honestly, even minimal packaging, it still creates waste, right? And what about the chopper itself? When it breaks or gets old, does it just like end up in a landfill?
Those are important questions, and they highlight, I think, a need for more transparency, more accountability, from these companies, from the stores.
Mhm.
People are realizing how their choices affect the environment. Companies need to respond. They got to make sustainability a priority throughout the whole life of the product.
So it's not enough to just offer a green option at checkout. It's about making products that last, that you can fix, that you can recycle or, biodegrade at the end. It's changing our whole mindset from this disposable stuff to something more like circular.
Exactly. And that takes everyone working together, right? Consumers,
Mm.
the people making the products, the policymakers. It's a system, a big issue that needs to be addressed at every level. But we can still make choices, right? Even as individuals, we can support companies that are doing good, choose stuff with less packaging, and, well, get rid of waste the right way.
So it comes down to like being a conscious consumer, thinking beyond just that instant, I want this feeling, and like thinking about what happens after you buy something. Okay, let's look back at the Fullstar chopper specifically. We mentioned those good reviews, but there were some bad ones too. About cleaning, about it not lasting very long. Do those concerns, do they raise any red flags for you?
Well, they do make you wonder about, like, the quality and how long the thing really lasts, right? It's
Wow.
one thing for it to be easy to use, look good in pictures, but if it breaks after a few months, that's no good.
Hmm.
It points to that bigger problem, planned obsolescence, I think they call it, where things are, like, made to break down, so you have to buy a new one sooner.
It's like a built-in cycle, right? Buy, use, break, buy again. Great for the companies, not so great for like our wallets or the planet.
Yeah, that's the problem. And that's why it's so important to really look into things before you buy them. Find reviews that talk about how long it lasts, read the warranty, and think about spending a bit more on something that's well made. Might cost more upfront, but saves you hassle later.
Speaking of cost, let's talk about those bundle deals again. They seem like a good value, but it feels like a sneaky way to get us to buy more than we need?
Yeah, I hear you. Bundling, it's a classic. It plays on that feeling of, ooh, I'm getting a deal. But you got to be honest, what are you really getting? Do you need that tofu press or that salad spinner thing? Or are you just caught up in the idea of getting a bundle?
It's that feeling of, well, I'm already spending this much, might as well get more stuff, make it worth it. And then you end up with a drawer full of gadgets you never use. I know I do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we've all been there. The trick is, I guess, recognize that feeling
Mm-hmm.
and ask yourself, do I really need this? Will it actually, like, make my life better?
Hmm.
Sometimes the best deal is just not buying anything.
True, true. It's about being intentional, not getting tempted by sales or bundles. Okay, let's go back to the visuals, those pictures. We talked about how they create this like aspirational world, but how do they make us feel? What emotions are they trying to get at?
It's all about our desires, I think. Both the ones we know about and the ones maybe we don't. The sleek look, the bright colors, the, perfectly chopped veggies, it all makes you think of efficiency, being in control, even a bit of luxury. They're selling us this vision of ourselves as these, competent and stylish cooks, effortlessly making amazing meals.
And it's working, right? I mean, even I'm feeling a little tempted.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm just observing. It's like they've created this halo effect around the chopper, where it's not just a tool, but like a symbol of a lifestyle you want to have.
Exactly. It's that emotional connection they're making. Like, owning this thing will somehow improve your life, make you feel more, I don't know, high status.
Mm-hmm.
And that works for way more than just kitchen gadgets.
It's like they figured out what makes us like tick, what to do to get us to buy things.
hmm And we need to be aware of that as consumers.
Hmm.
Recognize those tactics and make choices based on what we actually need, what our values are, not just get pulled in by clever marketing.
It's about being smart, being critical about what we buy and, why. But hey, on a lighter note, remember those videos people upload? They're not just reviews, they're like mini shows, right? Catchy music, fancy editing, sometimes even funny.
Oh, totally. Yeah. They're like tiny commercials
Yeah.
disguised as, you know, regular people sharing their thoughts. And that's what makes them work so well. We're entertained, we're paying attention. And without even realizing it, we start to want what they're showing. It's brilliant.
Like they've turned marketing into entertainment,
Yeah,
blurring those lines so we're more open to the message. I mean, if a video makes you laugh, you're going to remember what they're selling,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind when we're online, consuming content. Are we just being entertained or are they trying to sell us something? And if it's both, are we okay with that?
Those are good questions. But, even with all this stuff about marketing manipulation, it's still fascinating to see how this Fullstar chopper blew up. It's like this small gadget became this like cultural thing, like a symbol of where we are right now.
I think you're right. It shows how our relationship with food is changing, with technology, with the need for things to be easy and fast. It reminds us that even, everyday objects can tell a story about us, about the world. And that's what makes these deep dives so cool, don't you think?
Totally. It's about finding those hidden meanings, those things you wouldn't expect that make you see the world in a new way. Who would have thought we'd find all that in a listing for a vegetable chopper on Amazon?
It just shows there's always more to uncover, more to learn, more to ask questions about. That's what the deep dive's all about. So
Till next time.
keep exploring, keep being curious, keep diving deep.
Love it. And speaking of unexpected things, let's switch gears and talk about.
All right. So we've talked about a lot. Social influence, everyone wanting things to be easy, all the sustainability stuff. But before we finish up with this Fullstar chopper, I want to go back to something you mentioned before. I bet those videos people upload. You said they're like mini commercials, right? It's almost like we're being marketed to without even realizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's subtle. But it's definitely happening more and more, especially with social media. It's not just those obvious ads, the sponsored posts, the influencer stuff. It's the regular videos we watch every day, the ones that make us laugh or teach us things. A lot of times there's a product or brand kind of hidden in there. And because it's entertaining or we're learning something, we're not as, I don't know, guarded, maybe.
Yeah, our defenses are down because we don't feel like we're being sold to. But isn't that kind of, I don't know, a little creepy? Are we losing the ability to tell the difference between real content and marketing?
That's a good question. It makes you think about, like, how we consume media these days. How do we think critically, especially online? There's just so much information, so many visuals. It's hard to filter it all out. What's real, what's not, gets confusing.
So how do we navigate this whole like blurred lines thing? How do we avoid being, tricked by these clever marketing tactics?
It comes down to, I think, being aware and thinking critically. We have to be mindful of what we're watching, what we're reading, question the motives behind it all. And anything that seems too good to be true, well, it probably is. It's about developing a good sense, your gut feeling,
Right.
recognizing that not everything online is what it seems.
So basically, as we're scrolling, watching those catchy videos, we got to ask ourselves, what's the real message here? Are they sneaking in some product, some brand? And then am I okay with that?
Exactly. Take a step back. Really look at the information.
Yeah.
Don't just passively absorb it. We got to be active, engaged, not just mindless consumers.
Good point. But, even with all this talk about manipulation, there's something still really interesting about how this Fullstar chopper blew up. It's like, it's more than just a gadget now. It's a cultural, I don't know, phenomenon, right?
You're right. It shows how we think about food now, how we use technology, how much we want things to be easy and fast. It's a reminder that even simple things can tell us a lot about well, ourselves and the world. And that's why I love doing these deep dives. What about you?
Absolutely. It's those hidden meanings, the stuff you wouldn't expect. That's what gets me. Who would have thought we'd find all this from looking at a vegetable chopper on Amazon?
It just shows that there's always more to find, more to learn, more to question, and that's what the deep dive is all about.
Perfectly said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. Next time you're on TikTok or browsing Amazon, take a second. Think about what's really going on with those products, those trends. You might be surprised what you find. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another, fascinating look at the world around us.